A report by human rights lobbyists has found the sexual and physical abuse of inmates with disabilities is rife within Australian prisons. As Norman Hermont reports, investigators from Human Rights Watch made site visits and spoke to hundreds of current and former inmates and staff.
They can be foreboding and violent. For people with disabilities, Australia's prisons are especially harsh, according to a new report from Human Rights Watch.
We found that people with disabilities are particularly at risk of physical and sexual violence from prisoners as well as staff.
Investigators visited 14 centres in Western Australia and Queensland and spoke with hundreds of prisoners, staff and mental health professionals. They found people with disabilities, especially with mental illness or cognitive impairment, are vastly overrepresented in the prison system. One former prisoner with an intellectual disability, who we'll call Pete, says he was repeatedly abused.
It went from physical to mental to sexual, and then when I was sexually abused, you don't feel 100% the greatest after that's happened.
The report says prisoners with disability are often put in solitary confinement for 22 hours a day. The report had grave concerns about the prisoner carer program, where inmates are appointed to care for people with disabilities. One senior nurse in Queensland reported that 6 of the 8 current prisoner carers in their facility were convicted sex offenders.
We documented cases where a prisoner carer was routinely raping the person with a disability in his care.
The report recommends ending that program and solitary confinement for people with disabilities. Queensland Corrective Services says it will consider the recommendations, and it says it cooperated with Human Rights Watch because it's committed to continual improvement. For all Australian governments, the report recommends boosting diversion programs so fewer people with disabilities wind up suffering in prison. Norman Hermont, ABC News.